Hey Star Wars fans, welcome to another episode of the Mandalorian After Party.
Woo!
I'm Cody Dastrup, with me as always, Logan Schultz. How you doing, man?
Good. Another episode of the After Party. Excited about Mandalorian. Like, it's great.
Another week, another episode of cute Baby Yoda.
Yeah, it's basically should be called the Baby Yoda show. Let's be real.
Yeah, I've seen a couple people saying that, like, let's call this what this really is. It's the Baby Yoda show now.
I mean, basically, that was what I got out of episode 4 the most, actually.
Yeah, that's how cute he is.
Mm-hmm.
No, and that's true. I think the episode starts off pretty interesting, kind of right where we left off with the last one, and got a couple cute scenes with Baby Yoda. He's keeps turning on switches. Mando turns them off, and he does that little toddler thing where he's like looking right at Dad. Just,
I'm gonna do it anyways. Oh no, yeah, it's fun to see the kid. Baby Yoda's adorable for sure. And I think they have a neat dynamic going with Mando and Baby Yoda.
Yeah.
So that's been fun to see just kind of develop on screen a little bit.
It feels to me a little bit like, you know, you've seen memes or people talk about it where like Dad doesn't want a dog, but then Dad with the dog is like obsessed with the dog.
Right.
It's kind of how Mando was. Like, he's kind of like, this isn't really like what I signed up for, but I do care for him, even though I'm like a stone cold killer, like, you know, but
Right.
he can't help it but like naturally be this dad to him.
And I think it's interesting because it does seem to be kind of the only time we get to see Mando having like a personality, because we don't really get to see a lot of his personality because he doesn't talk like ever. Like the entire first episode, he spoke like twice.
He probably talked most in this episode than we've seen him talk at all.
This is true, yeah. He's definitely kind of, with each episode, he's kind of progressed in how much we get to hear about him as a character and as well as about the Mandalorian kind of race that we have going on right now.
Yeah, I agree with that. I guess before we completely dive into this, what was your overall thoughts of the episode? Like, I don't know if you want to give it a rating or where you rank it with the other ones, but I know we kind of start off usually with that. So.
Oh yeah, true. I don't know. Like, I thought the episode was very enjoyable, for sure. Baby Yoda was cute. There was some fun action stuff. I love learning more about Mandalorians in general, but I felt maybe this one was like kind of the least like exciting. It felt almost bland, if that's okay to say. You know, like just like we had talked when we were watching it, that it kind of felt like a Star Trek episode or like a Stargate episode even, where it's just, you know, they go to a new planet, meet the primitive species,
learn their culture,
save the day, move on.
Yeah.
So that was kind of what it felt like. So that kind of maybe detracted where The Mandalorian has had such a weird cadence to it, that having it be so familiar maybe felt weird. But that didn't mean like it was bad. Like, it was still a great episode as far as like the cinematography. The acting was pretty good and stuff. So
yeah, for me, I think like I agree with that. I definitely still really enjoyed it. It definitely felt more like episode 2 to me. One thing we talked about when we covered that was that felt more like a filler episode.
For sure.
Like, you didn't like it. There was some great stuff, and I will watch it again and again and again. Right. And I love the nostalgia of it and the fun Easter eggs and everything. And I feel the same way about this one. I'll keep watching it over and over again. But I don't feel like, other than maybe us finding him meeting Cara
or Omera
and finding out that Baby Yoda is still being tracked and is in danger, that's pretty much the only things that came from this. So that's, you know,
I think that's fair. Yeah.
It wasn't like a big pusher. Of course, I don't know. Maybe this planet will tie back in at the end. We don't know. But from what I'm feeling, it didn't seem like the biggest plot pusher. Whereas episode 1 and episode 3 were big like plot pushers. Totally fine with it. I loved it, and it was fun.
I do feel like this one was less about, like, episode 2 we felt like was almost nothing happened with the plot.
Yeah, that's
But there was so much like nostalgia and kind of understanding more about like Jawa culture type of deal, which is something we'd known about, and it was very interesting to learn about. That's when I felt like we honestly overall just learned less.
Yeah, that's true.
You know, like this random mostly human culture. We had learned very little about their culture, other than they look like farmers. And
it was interesting to see that, and I know we'll talk a little more about that later, but to see that in a Star Wars, which I think we were kind of talking about the Star Trek side of it, feeling like this culture isn't something we've really seen in Star Wars.
Yeah, it's kind of weird. Like, we'll just talk about it. Something we've been thinking about is, in Star Wars, you think about like, okay, big planets, think of it as like Coruscant, right? Of course.
Right.
All these planets that are dominant, Coruscant, Tatooine even, just like any kind of major planet we spend a lot of time on in the trilogies. We see the humans that live there or other humanoid alien species, and they are very advanced. I mean, they all have basically the same amount of technology. Luke, despite being a moisture farmer, still has a land speeder, all these technological, like, nice guns, cool binoculars, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, that doesn't seem any far removed from the people of Coruscant.
Right.
Whereas here we see, like, straight up, I don't know, like backwater farmers with nothing.
Yeah.
And that was a weird, I think it's really the first time we've seen a discrepancy in humanoids. Like, I mean, Ewoks didn't have tech, but.
Right, they weren't. Yeah. That makes sense. That's what these guys felt like to me, was Ewoks.
They were human Ewoks.
To a degree. I mean, maybe...
No, they're basically human Ewoks. They fought an AT-ST with sticks.
But they had to be trained. Ewoks at least knew what they were doing with their sticks
Ewoks
first.
were much better equipped to handle the AT-ST.
Yeah.
So, there's that.
Yeah, that was interesting. So, because of that, for my rating, I would say just because of Kara, however you say it.
Yeah. Kara.
It was interesting. Only sidebar, because she had that big interview where she's like, "It's Kara," like,
right.
And John, she's like, "John, I talked with Jon Favreau," and he was like, "Yeah, I don't know why everyone's saying it wrong," but then Pedro Pascal called her Kara in the episode, and I was like, "Is this gonna be like a Han or a Han thing, like with Lando?"
Hope so.
So, anyways, Gina Carano was very like, I want it to be Kara, or not Kara. She wants it to be Kara. Yeah. Anyways, doesn't matter.
So if you're
Kara,
confused after listening to him, that's normal.
Thanks.
But rating, let's get to that part.
Yeah, no, I just, like I said, because of her, she made it really fun for me. I wouldn't. This is hard. I don't like rating.
It's fun. Just give it a watch. But it's definitely not our favorite. Probably.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's definitely not the favorite.
But at the same time, I'd still watch it over and over again.
I'm going to watch it. I've already seen it 3 or 4 times. So, I mean, yeah, I'm never going to watch it, whatever.
Yeah.
I think something that was interesting, one of the Easter eggs we caught was the lawful cat.
Yeah. From Rebels.
So
I like literally right when that came up, I like said, I was like, "Oh, Loth Cat, like that's awesome." Like I love Rebels, so it's
it was a neat tie-in, and just like just having these things, and that's what I think Mandalorian has done really so well on, is just like boom, tiny tie-in.
Right, and give Favreau and Filoni their credits for just, they're gonna pull those things in, So it's
whether it's an ice cream maker or a cat.
Exactly, that's what I'm saying. There hasn't been a single episode that hasn't had multiple, like, "Oh, hey, did you see that? Or did you notice that?" So that's really cool.
But I do think one of the best things about this episode was Kara. She was super interesting. We've been waiting to meet her forever.
Feels like forever. Halfway through the season already.
Yeah, and I mean, she left at the end of this episode anyway. So, like, this huge character we're all excited for, and hopefully we'll see her again soon. I'm sure we will. But to finally get to see her, she's pretty awesome. I mean, her and Mando go toe-to-toe, and don't really think there's a clear winner. I think at the end, I think Mando wins because she has a gun pointed at his laser-proof helmet. So I think she loses. Who's gonna win.
I think technically, when she kept punching him, I mean,
dude, she like wrecked him like hand-to-hand combat.
Yeah, but I was like, how are you hitting the steel, like, and just taking it?
There's one part she punches and goes like, ow, but like she punches him again anyways.
She took him down a couple times. That was fun though, how they both ended pulling the thing out. Baby Yoda's over there sipping his soup. Though that guy, he's like hilarious, because that kind of same thing happened where he's like, "Stay on the ship, okay?" And then he opens the door and he's standing next to him. He's like, "All right, fine." Well, same thing with there. He's like, "Hey, can you watch the little kid?" And then he comes out anyways. He's just like sipping,
just sipping his broth.
It's gonna be the next biggest meme.
Honestly, I already see it everywhere.
Yeah, that was just one of the funnest scenes. And Mando's little like heat-seeking footprint finding thing. That was really cool to see.
And it was kind of cool just seeing Kara to hear a little bit about her. She called herself a shock trooper.
Yeah. And
that she was jumping in. She worked for the Rebel Alliance.
Mm-hmm.
And then got bored when it turned into political stuff.
It's kind of fun. She just was like she's a mercenary. She just wants to fight.
Yeah, she just wants to beat people up. And then, yeah, it's definitely what it seems like she says she takes an early retirement, but she's afraid of Mando because she thought he was a bounty hunter coming after her.
Which is interesting.
So, like, I'm thinking she didn't really retire the correct way.
Yeah. That's your theory there? Did something fun to get out? Or
She thought it was too...
why would she think people are coming after her?
Right. You don't think people are coming after you if you, like, resign.
Right. It's interesting. Makes you wonder what her involvement in, like, how long she was with...
How long she had been with the rebellion.
Yeah, like, in episode 6, was she, like... I'm not saying she was maybe there. She might have been. I don't know. But it makes you wonder, like, no, she would have been young.
She does say that she got most of her action post Battle of Endor.
Yeah.
So, I mean, she's probably pretty young.
During the Battle of Endor. So
I mean,
she was with more of, like, the Alliance to restore...
6 years ago.
The Republic.
5-6 years ago, right?
Oh. Yeah, duh, never mind.
Haha, math.
I don't know where my head's at. That, yeah, duh. That's not that
so
long
she's
ago.
probably in her 20s during the Battle of Endor.
Yeah.
So she could have been with the rebellion from... Yeah. Well, not from the get-go, because, I mean... But maybe from A New Hope on-ish.
Yeah. That'd be cool.
I would imagine
maybe
probably...
she has got some fun stories.
Yeah. Maybe she met Luke a couple times. Who knows?
Or whatever.
I'm
Leia.
sure she met Leia, right?
Right. You would think
General
so.
Organa.
Yeah, at least
would
General
know who
Organa
she is. Solo.
Yeah. At least would know who she is. Darn, what was I going to say?
I have no idea.
I felt like it was with Kara.
Huh. Well, there you go. But we thought Kara was really cool, just getting to see her, and hopefully that's not the last we get to see of Kara. She was pretty fun. And I'm excited to see what we'll see more of her. She definitely seems like a big name, so I'm sure she'll come back. Yeah,
I was kind of bummed that because that's what I was going to say. Along with your point where you're saying you think maybe she retired, but not in the right way because she got bored. I'm thinking this peaceful life to her is going to be boring.
And she's going to go find the Mando,
Yeah, because that's exactly where I was going with that. Because if she was bored with that, like, just laying low is going to be boring. So probably getting a taste of fighting with Mando, she's probably like, oh yeah, you know what, I do miss that. She's gonna go seek him out or something. I just wish she would have gone with him.
I was honestly hoping the episode was gonna end with, like, him getting to his ship and she's just, like, chilling by it, like, what took you so long. That would have been awesome.
That would be cool. She should have just accepted the invite. I agree, because I was like,
he was like, she's like, I'll go with you, and he's like, no. And she's like, okay.
Well, that's how it's been, like, the whole like episodes, right? Like,
you're like, oh, cool, it's Quill. And then he's like, yeah, I'm going to stay here. And Mando's like, okay, cool.
Yeah, or IG-11.
Well, right. IG-11, he shot him in the head.
Right, but I was like, going up to that, he's like, droid, you're not so bad for a droid. And I'm like, okay, cool, they're going to be buddies.
Buddies, bang. Okay, just kidding.
So this guy's just going to be a lone ranger, which I don't... like, has been fun up to this point, but I think it's time for him to get his crew together, and have a good crew to... I don't know. Maybe.
No, I think a crew's a good... because then that's how you, like, fall in love with characters. Like, Mando isn't cool right now. Like, he's cool, but, like, I don't like him as a character because he doesn't have a character. He has no personality.
Right. Because, like
he has Baby Yoda is the character.
Right, and that's where you've started to warm up to him, right? Because you see how he treats Yoda and how he is towards... Yeah, I agree with that. Like, they need... And how he was with Kara. Like, that was fun. Like, their chemistry as they're out, searching through the camp, trying to find, trying to set the bomb off and, like, all the things. That was so fun.
I'm sure we're going to see more of it soon, but the question is when.
I hope it doesn't take all of episode 5 for her to come back, I want her to come back at the beginning.
For sure. And then another thing that was interesting, so obviously Kara and Mando, they get to meet up and go help some farmers. Mm-hmm. And she pretty willingly joins in, which is cool, but they go and meet someone called Omera. I think Omera's fair, and she is a widow of the tribe, and seems like she's not in charge, but kind of, like, well respected.
Yeah, there you go.
To an extent, she has a little girl, and she has the hots for Mando.
That's exactly what it feels like.
Which is kind of weird because he has a helmet.
She's not shallow. She doesn't care about looks.
Only personality.
It's like he could have the ugliest mug under there. She's just, like, flirting it up, though. She don't care.
I'm just concerned because, like, he has no personality. Well, she just finds armor attractive. That's really what it is.
I was thinking about that. Maybe she's just like, this guy's new. I don't like any of the guys here, so it's a new guy. And, he's a good guy. He's helping save.
You always crush on that first guy that you meet, right? The new kid in school.
When he well, when he meets the daughter, she says, this nice man's going to help us.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, you don't know if he's a nice man. The dude's like I'm just saying,
He's
like throughout the
like
galaxy,
a mercenary.
Yeah, that's what I'm like. Mandalorians don't have a nice reputation. It's not like I'm saying they're all bad guys.
He also pulled a gun on her daughter.
Did he pull his gun? I know
Yeah.
he turned.
Well, I don't know if he really pulled his. I think he did.
Yeah, I can't remember, but he definitely turned sharp on her. Like he
scared the
watching
crap
his
out of
back.
the kid.
Yeah, and they didn't really address that either. I thought he was gonna be like, I'm sorry, it's just my way of life, but he just stayed quiet.
He's like, get over it.
But
see, again, weird, no personality.
I'm beyond jealous of that little daughter because she got to feed Baby Yoda
and hug Baby Yoda.
Hug Baby Yoda, play with Baby Yoda. Like, I thought I was envious of Mando because he's a total bad A or whatever. But no, I'm just envious of the little girl.
And props to the kid actors for keeping Baby Yoda quiet for that long.
Yeah,
pretty impressive.
They did good. They did really well at acting like they really cared about Baby Yoda and like that was their friend, and I enjoyed it.
There's definitely kid acting, but I mean, hey, kids are kids.
Yeah.
And yeah, I mean, if you don't expect kids to act like kids when they're acting, then I'm confused.
Yeah, I liked it.
They were
I thought they did a
adorable
good job.
enough.
Yeah, I made it fun. Or when Baby Yoda starts eating the frog and they all look at him.
They freaking shamed him for what he eats. Freaking
and he
kids.
just spit it out like, oh, these are my friends. I want to impress them. Sorry, didn't mean to scare you guys.
Rose just hungry and they shame him.
But don't worry, she's gonna feed him these little mini mushrooms or whatever she fed him.
Yeah, seriously, he's like, I'm freaking hungry. You gave me like a quarter of a mushroom.
They let him chase around the blue-looking krill, but.
But back to Mommy Amara. Interesting is she's a widow, obviously. So I mean, she had a husband beforehand.
Yeah.
And she's the only one who can shoot a gun.
That's true.
I feel like those are connected.
Maybe. So maybe she hadn't spent her whole time with this tribe.
That's kind of what I'm guessing. Is she had a husband, and maybe like they're a little.
He wasn't from the tribe. I don't know.
They weren't involved in the tribe, and husband dies. Either he was maybe like an imperial or something, and she kind of flees the imperial way of life. I mean, we have seen Imperials go be farmers.
Yeah. Urso.
Yeah.
Galen Urso. Yeah, that's a good point. Trying to hide from. I like that theory. That's cool because
I'm impressed that I came up with that.
Good job. Because no one else has any idea how to shoot a gun. She's like hitting the target like every time.
Which would make sense because she does seem so much more well-spoken and kind of like knowledgeable about things. And she also doesn't talk about how like she has ties. Where like that one guy when after they find out, hey, there's an ATST and that's just going to blow up your entire village. And that guy's like, yeah, but like my grandparents like lived here. Like she doesn't be like, yeah, mine too.
Yeah, she does say they're not going to leave.
Right,
but she doesn't say anything like that.
And she's also totally willing to fight. So I mean, I think that kind of could come from an imperial background,
right?
Where maybe she's not imperial, but like husband was an imperial officer type of deal, so she ran away.
I think it's interesting. Interesting how. I'd love to go back and watch her reaction when Kara tells them about the walker, because they go and scout it out, realize there's a walker, they see the footprints, an ATST, come back, and Kara's like, "You guys gotta move." Like,
yeah, I think that was like one of the best parts, just seeing like Mando and her just like, I don't care about your feelings.
Yeah, like, sorry, suck it up. Like, you're not living here anymore. Well, that's what Mando says. He's like, you can't live here anymore.
And then Kara's like, you have terrible bedside manner, but then it's like, you all gotta move.
Because and like Cara Dune said, she's seen this, like, being part of the rebel. She's like, I have seen these take out platoons of soldiers. Like, you guys aren't soldiers. You're gonna get wrecked. And Mando, of course, he's like, well, we could train them. And I think that surprises her. She's just like, excuse me?
Clearly sticks, the weakness of all ATSTs.
I would say maybe the fact that it makes you wonder how these guys got the ATST anyways. These little orc-looking bulldog.
Thinking about that because, like we said, there's such a discrepancy on the planet. It seems like there is a little like kind of hub where people obviously fly down and stuff. Yeah, and get their bone broth for the day.
But these guys are far away from that. Spotchka, that's what it is.
Sounds Russian more than Star Wars, but whatever.
Yeah, Spotchka.
But so how did an ATST kind of wind up on the planet a mile or so away from farmers who the fastest thing they have is like a little hoverboard thing?
Yeah, it makes you wonder what these guys, that other tribe's doing here.
Yeah. So it's kind of interesting to think maybe about the reaches of the Empire, and or at least where Empire technology has wound up now that it's been about 5 years after.
Mm-hmm.
Like, obviously, major battles, there's lots of junk, like we see with Rey being like a junk kind of scavenger. But I mean, on Jakku, that's one of the biggest battlegrounds ever in Star Wars history, because it's the last battle for the Empire. So there's obviously going to be stuff there, but it doesn't seem like there was ever an Empire Rebellion battle
on that planet.
On this planet.
Yeah, I don't know the name. He says it when
he says it once
at the beginning when they're like, "Oh, there's this planet."
We'll drop it in the comments.
Well, another thing on the ATST is that I'm guessing, I could be wrong, but I'm guessing maybe they had to fix it up. Whoever these guys were, they found it.
It has red eyes
because it's different, right? It has the red eyes, and that could have just been a fun mod they added to make it look creepy, which it did. It looked really cool. I liked it, but
the fact that the original ones didn't have red eyes seems like a total failure.
A miss, right? Like that was really cool. So these guys wanted to make it even scarier, and I'm guessing maybe they just fixed it up and it was broken down and whatever. You never see the person that's inside of it either,
right? But
which obviously there's someone inside of it. I've seen a couple people talking like, "Oh, was it a robot?" I'm like, no, it's just you just didn't have to see the person inside of it. It blew up. They died.
Yeah,
right. Like
they killed plenty of people.
We're on the same page on that.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool.
And then I don't know. I think maybe one of the just kind of last things that I thought about was it's when they kind of sneak into the Bulldog. I have no idea what these people are. The Bulldog.
They look like Bulldogs.
They straight up do. The like encampment of these like raiders.
Mm-hmm.
They are all sipping on some blue stuff, which doesn't seem like it's the spotchka that they talk about earlier.
Yeah.
But then there's these just like huge barrels, or not barrels, like open kind of vats of this blue stuff that's like kind of smoking and stuff, and it's explosive. So is it like alcohol? Or
something.
Is it something else? I don't know. It's kind of weird.
Well, they're all sitting around the fire drinking it, right?
Right. So it's probably not like oil or something, but
yeah. Maybe that's what those guys are there.
Maybe they're like
making that stuff and selling it or something.
They're moonshiners.
Exactly.
Star Wars
it's
moonshine.
Yeah.
All right. Who knew Star Wars had a prohibition?
Yeah. Well, I don't know. Probably not that far out in the galaxy, but maybe that's why they're on that planet.
Yeah.
It'd be interesting to find out what that species is if they ever turn up again, because they did retreat. There's some of those guys left
for sure.
Over. What about one thing we were talking about too was kind of your idea with Arvala 7.
All right, just because this has to go somewhere, obviously. Like, what's next? Episode 4 is done, so what's episode 5 gonna be?
Yeah, that's fair. What's next for episode?
And kind of what we were talking about is, kind of just how disappointing it's been. We meet all these characters like IG-11, Quill, Kara. I mean, Omera to an extent, but these characters who we knew about are on posters for The Mandalorian, and now they're gone. Mm-hmm. Like after one episode, maybe, or like 1.5. Or like IG-11's 5 minutes. So like kind of like this sort of feeling like, hey, how are we going to introduce these characters again, or are they completely gone? And I was thinking about Nick Nolte's character Quill, and he's on Arvala 7, right? That's the name of his planet, and he's talks about how people kind of go there to kind of escape their troubles. And it seems like that tracking fob, it can track Yoda to an extent, but because they don't have all of the digits, which I think they're supposed to be 8 and they only have 4 for Baby Yoda, that you need very specific information. So that's why Amanda was like, hey, we caused a lot of trouble. That's definitely went around the parsec.
We probably should get
going.
Oh, he did say they've been there a couple weeks.
Right, and it had been a couple
time
weeks.
Span.
Which is cool to see, like, the first, like, major time lapse.
Yeah, they hung out for a while there. That wasn't like a one-day thing.
Yeah, it's like the biggest time gap in any Star Wars movie produced by Disney.
True.
But, so that was kind of interesting to see, like, the time gap, but also, like, he could go to Arvala 7 and, like, meet up with Quill again, but because I think he'd be most likely safe there from Baby Yoda, or with Baby Yoda, because I don't think they would be able to track him to there, because the fob doesn't seem to have enough information to accurately track him down quickly.
Right. So the idea would be, because Quill says this is a peaceful planet, people kind of come here to stay, to retire, to get away from
from their past.
So maybe that's why they can bring Quill back. Maybe he goes back there thinking, maybe this will be a safe planet for me and Baby Yoda to hide out at.
Ironic.
Yeah, which is where
kidnaps him from
Yeah. But I like the idea because I think that they need to bring Quill back. I hope they do. I hope it's not the last of
I need more I Have Spoken, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Before we wrap up, a couple things too. I thought this was important. Kind of the stuff that we find out when what's her name? Or Omera. Yeah, I want to say.
Oh yeah.
She talks about. She asks him about the helmet. Which
is
like
we get to see more insight into kind of this is the way helmet stuff in this episode,
which might have been some of the biggest plot information in this entire episode.
Oh, for sure.
So basically, she asks, when's the last time you've taken this off? And he says wasn't much bigger than those younglings out there.
I don't think he called them younglings.
So, yeah, that's just Star Wars brain. Those kids, they're probably 7, 8, 9, 10. And
highly doubt any of them are really teenagers, but
yeah. So he, and then he basically says the Mandalorian saved me and took me in,
right?
And that's when I took up the way of, ever since then I pretty much have hid my face.
Right, but he's allowed to take it off. We do get to see a kind of a neat shot of like his torso take off his helmet and set it next to him for eating because he's allowed to take it off by himself.
Right, if no one else will see him.
Which is good. He can shower and stuff.
Right. Well, we joke because she's like, how are we going to kiss if, your helmet's still on? Because we thought she had the hots for Mando,
Pretty sure she does. I mean, she tries to take it off.
Well, that's what I'm saying. And it was interesting because that was a good turning point in the episode where Kara had said, are you kidding me? Like, what happened? Oh, so she says, what happens if you take it off? She says, are they going to come kill you?
Right.
And I had kind of wondered that too. I was like, is that like you're going to be hunted now? But she's like, no, you just can't put it back on. Like, almost like it's a privilege to be able to do what I'm doing, but I could walk away if I wanted.
And it's kind of interesting because I don't think anyone could kill him.
Oh, that's true.
Because because no one knows what he looks like. Like, if he's not wearing a shiny armor, like, no one would know what he looks like.
That's true. Even the Mandalorians, like, his tribe doesn't know what he looks like. And I wonder if that's
kind of purposeful. Like,
it's kind of symbolic. Like, we're all the same, right?
Except for he has cooler armor than most of them.
That's true too.
And then there's
there's one
fat
big
ones.
Dude. Yeah.
The heavy artillery Mandalorian, or Ham, as he's affectionately known.
But they're all the same. They've all taken the oath. They're all, But I thought it was a good turning point for him because it was like he had that option. Kara's like, you can just settle down and drink your schmotch. What was
Spotchka, I think.
Spotchka, yeah.
I think we're saying that right.
He's like, and with this hot widow hero, he's like, I mean, sounds like a great idea to me. And so he gets that opportunity. She's taking the mask off. She's like, "Are you happy here?" And he thinks about it. Like he doesn't grab it right away.
Yeah.
He's thinking about it, and because it's tempting to him, which was cool to see the inside of him. That he's like, "Man, that would be kind of nice. I've already kind of made a good bank on my last bounty,
right? Yeah.
But he decides at the last minute, nope. This is more important to me. This is the oath I've taken. I want to honor it.
And part of me wonders if that's like because he feels like it's necessary to protect Baby Yoda.
And that's probably true too.
Or if it's like more of like, nope. I mean, because he's talking about leaving Baby Yoda there, but I still think like part of him's like, no, I can only protect him as a Mandalorian, not as whoever he is.
And and it gives you just this honorable kind of side to him.
That he feels very indebted, and that shows to the Mandalorians for taking him in as a foundling, and how he's always like trying to make sure that stuff goes to the foundlings, which is the way.
This is the way.
It is the way.
So Anteater Nose guy comes up, puts Yoda in his scope, and
Kara saves the day by murdering him.
Yeah. Did your heart jump when that sound went off?
I mean, I was like worried, but like no, because
like you knew they weren't gonna kill him. But I still like.
I was like, don't kill Baby Yoda. Like, I will throw things at you.
I know. You're about to square up with the TV. Like,
pretty much.
Anteater Nose guy's going down, but Kara took him down, which is really cool. Always having their guard up there. So that's kind of where the episode leaves us. Is they're gonna go back to the ship, and he realizes like Yoda isn't safe here. So is Yoda really safe anywhere?
We'll find out. I guess probably in episode 5. I guess the question is, will the issue of Baby Yoda be resolved by the end of the season? We have 4 episodes left. We're midway.
So halfway through.
Will Baby Yoda be safe?
So I've heard people talking about how supposedly he's seen on set of the new filming
it's leaked that he's in season 2, yeah.
So I don't know if that's like a big spoiler, but
I'm just think so,
because it's technically is still speculation.
More of just like, do you think he's like his issue with the
He won't be getting
the
tracked
contractor, is that going to be resolved, and we're going to have a different problem in season 2, or is season 2 just like a slow continuation of season 1?
I bet my bet would be that there will be a new problem.
Okay.
But it will probably come from this series of issues. Like, for example, yes, there's people after him for Baby Yoda.
Mm-hmm.
But along the journey, you know, he's going to have to do some things to keep Baby Yoda safe.
Make more
maybe
enemies
piss
and stuff.
off other people, right?
Right.
And, you know, eventually it could be, you know, the government coming for him, or you know, the First Order starts to. I don't know when the First Order is going to start forming. If we'll see that in this show, but maybe some of those guys.
Well, that was one of the things that it should mention. I think
they said they'll dive
episode
into it a little bit.
Was like the speculation. Episode 7 should have a little bit of information about the First Order.
Yeah.
Not a lot, but a little bit.
So maybe he'll tick off one of those guys along the way. And so,
Snoke's
but I do think
Baby Yoda.
Oh my goodness!
I don't want to see Snoke. Snoke's ugly.
He can't touch our cute Baby Yoda. Anything else from you, Logan?
No, I think that's it. I don't know what the appropriate send-off for this episode is. This is the way until our paths cross again, maybe?
Until our paths cross again. I like it.
All right, so until our paths cross again, make sure to check us out, and we'll see you guys soon.